Hi guys, it's me Karen, and I'm going to come and show you a card that I made, and then I'm going to show you how I went ahead and made it. So this is the card, and it is watercolored, and I used embossing sparkly puff 3D embossing powder on it, and then just did a little stamping here, sequins. And on the side, underneath the watercolor base piece, I did some embossing with the powder on the cardstock itself. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did this. It's got a little sparkle in it. I don't know if you can see that. Hoping you can, but not sure if you can. Okay, so what I did to do this is I used a stamp set that I have, and it is this one here, and it's from Altenew. It's called the Parisian Motifs. Beautiful little flowers on it. And I've gone ahead in my little Misty, and this is a stamping Misty. I put a little piece of cardstock. It's watercolor base. Now there are two sides to the watercolor paper. This is just what I had in my stash, so it's, you know, just what I picked up at the store. So there's a smooth side and then there's a rougher side. To get the resist ink to press into the rougher side is a little harder than it is on the smoother side. So on the card I did, this is done on the rougher side of it. And what I'm going to try to do is see if it comes out any easier on the smoother side. Paper is measured 4 inches this way and 5.5 this way. What I've done is attach the two pieces that I want to stamp on my paper. And let's see if we can show you the two. This piece and this piece. I'll also be using this one here, but that comes later. So I've attached them where I want them on my card, on my little mini Misty, and they will be placed in this order here. So we're just going to ink them up with the water marker, and I'll have to do this probably twice because of the watercolor paper is thicker and textured. So we get it once. Make sure you get the whole stamp in there. And then twice. And then we'll see. Looks like this one's having a little problem up at the top, so we'll move the magnet down. And get it there. And still a little bit here. That's what I really like about this, is you can get it where it needs to be. Okay, that's good. My ink pad has got a little fuzzies that are coming off of it. I'm crazy about that. See if we can't brush those off. Don't know. Okay, why don't we just put the embossing powder on, just like that. Move it around a little. Make sure it's gotten everywhere. And then anywhere I don't want it, brush it off. I think that's supposed to be there. I don't know. Okay. And I'm going to take this over to the heat tool and heat it up. Okay, and that's gotten it nice and puffy. A little glitter on it. Now we're going to put the flower in the center. So take these two off. Now we're going to use the big one. What I'm going to do is place it where I want it. Okay, so I've got it where I want it, and it's going to hang down a little bit. So we press it on, and we ink it up. And press it down. Sorry, and do it again. And check it. It looks pretty good. Okay, put that aside and sprinkle it again. So there you have that piece. And right down there. Down. Okay, we got the three. Now what we're going to do is do the watercoloring on it. Put it away. Be right back. Okay, and now that it's all done, I'm going to watercolor it. And if you notice, it's wompy, but that's okay because we're going to put water on this. It's going to even get a little more wompy. And I'll just go ahead and get the areas I'm going to watercolor wet. The particular brush I'm using is a number 2 Pro Artist Sculpt Liner. I got them at, I believe, Hobby Lobby. And actually, they're my daughter's. I'm borrowing them. So I'm going to get this flower all wet. And let the water soak in a bit. The watercolors I'm using are just a set I got up at Joann's, Simply Art, multicolored, cheap. I think I got them 50% off of where the sale price ended up costing me, I think, $3. So they're nothing special. They're just, you know, a cheap set of paints. So the colors that I used on this other card are in the yellow family and green, because it was a color challenge from Altenew, and the colors were kind of a creamy yellow, greens, silver, for the month that I'm doing this card for. And I will go ahead and change the colors up a little bit on this card. Just so we will start on the flower, and we're going to do this one in a pink. So I'm just going to start with a very light pink and see how we go. I haven't used these colors much, so kind of learning here. Because the embossing powder is puffed up, it'll keep my colors in where I want them, and it will not bleed out into the other area, which is really nice and a fun way to use these stamps. So now we got our pink base down. And if you don't like it, or if you got too much, you can always dab them up a little bit with a paper towel. Okay, we're going to go in with a little darker color, and I kind of wanted to stay in the reds. So I think I'm going to try this one and see what it looks like. It's kind of a purple color, but that'll be pretty. Goes nice. So I'm just going to go around the base with the darker color, then up on the bottom of one side of the leaves. here's what I've done so far, and it kind of bled out a little bit, so what I'm going to do is put a background color on it. And let's figure out what we want to use as a background. Since it's bleeding out pink, we're going to go ahead and use the light pink. And all I'm going to do here is kind of just run it around. And then I'm going to get it wet, and we're going to see how that works. Not with my brush, really. I mean, I'll do a little bit, but I'm going to spray it. Get a little more color on here. With the spritzer bottle, and then just let it do its thing. Maybe a little more color up here. Color bleed. And maybe add just a little bit of the other color here too, here and there. And we'll add a little spray with that too. And then we'll see how that dries. Okay, this is how it turned out drying. It's still a little tiny damp, but I'm going to go ahead and put on some Winkostella here in these areas, brighten them up a little bit. Just run it around. Give it some more. I mean, the puffy stuff has got glitter in it, but might as well make it a little more glittery. You'll notice it adds a little more dimension to the flowers. Add some in the leaves too. Why not? Okay. So that's so far what we have got. Now I have to let it completely dry before I stamp it with anything else, because I'm going to put a sentiment over here in the black and it will bleed if I'm not careful. So I'm going to just set this aside and let it dry. Okay, now it's dry and we're going to put it in here. I'm going to use this stamp set. It's a jelly bean and it's 8 pieces and it's called Handwritten Sentiments. I got it a while back. I'm going to use this one here that says hello there. And what you do is you just take it and you put it where you think it would look nice. I think it looked nice there, and because the Misty has a grid on it, we can actually see if I got it on there straight, which is something I'm not good at. I always eyeball everything, and Get it right there, and it's straight. Okay, another thing I'm not terribly good at is when I ink these with black ink, I never get them to stamp right the first time. That is why we're going to put it in the Misty so I can get it stamped a couple times and then it'll come out crisp. Okay, I'm also going to emboss it with some sparkle, and it's the first time I've ever done this with black ink. I'm hoping it's going to stay wet enough to do it, so I have to do it kind of quick. So I want to get everything over here. So I'm going to use Memento black ink, ink up the stamp, and then ink it where I want. Almost turned out. Ink it again. And then we will put on the embossing. Should have opened this. On there. Okay, and it cleared it, so I'm going to melt that on there. And that gave it a nice glitter. Okay, now we have it. I cut it down to size. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to splatter it with some white paint, which might be easier said than done. Let's see, I have the white Distress Stain. So take that up. And I'm going to put it on my mat back here. I don't know if you can see that, but then I'm just going to use the wet paintbrush. Get it in, and then just put some splatters on there. So I don't know if you can see them, but they're there. And I think I'll put a different color on there too. Wipe that up. Let's see what I got color-wise. Acrylic paint. And some light pink. Might work nice. Oops. Shake that up. Okay. So we'll get the paintbrush wet again. That. Wipe that up. Oh, what a mess up there. So like the pink, I want a little bit more white in it though, so I am going to go ahead and get out some white. Sooner or later I'll get out some white. Okay, there we go, white. Mess. Okay. Just checking it. I'm blind as a bat, you know, so I have to look. Okay. Now clean up my mess. And let it dry. Kind of want to get rid of the two little dots that are on the L. There. Boom. That one's more watered down. All right, we're just gonna let that dry. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount this on this little purple card base, and then I'm gonna attach it to a card that I'm gonna make. So I'm gonna use some of this double back tape because of the warpiness of this, and I want something that will hold it really well. Okay, I'm gonna attach some sequins. So I've got these clear ones from Pretty Pink Posh, and I have my glue up here, which I use. It's the Dries Clear Art Glitter glue, and then we just decide where we want some of these. These come in multiple sizes, so there's some really large ones, some medium ones, and some itty bitty teeny tiny ones. Love the itty bitty tiny ones. So then we're just gonna place these on the card, kind of in a random order. Random as you get when you place them perfectly where you want them. Okay, something like that. And there we go. Now all I have left is to attach that to a card base, and I'll show you the finished product at the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.